Good evening, UC Bearcat fans. It's James Ernest and Mark Fightmaster for UC Bearcats on the Prowl, part of the Groom and Truth Radio Network. Mark, what have those Bearcats been up to?
Well, James, it was a rough week everywhere. With the Bearcats losing on Saturday, football-wise, 20-13, and just seeing their bowl chances fly out the window. So I figured we could talk about that first, and then we can move to basketball. But yeah, it was just, I don't know. TCU got out to a 20-7 lead at halftime and just never looked back. I mean, it was probably, I think it was 20-0 before UC scored late in the second quarter. So,
Exactly. Yeah, it just felt very one-sided. It felt
yep.
like offense was very stagnant. They kept running the dang ball. It felt the first drive, and don't get me wrong, we have or had because unfortunately he's gone now. But
Yeah.
Corey was a great running back,
Mhm.
and I mean, giving him the ball isn't a bad idea. But like the first drive, it was like three plays right in a row that were all just right up the middle.
Yep. Yeah, it was almost like they watched the Ohio State-Michigan game from earlier in the day and decided to adopt Ohio State's offensive philosophy, just try and run the ball no matter what happened, and it was frustrating. It was frustrating as hell to watch Ohio State do it as an Ohio State fan, and it was frustrating as hell to watch UC do it as well. James, and you're right, the season's over now. No bowl game. I mean, they finished 5-7, and they were 5-2. And so it's just, man, this is. So I was thinking about it, and I've been listening to people talking, I've been reading things on the internet. People are like, how does Scott Satterfield survive this? Scott Satterfield survives this because he's got such a ridiculous buyout that UC
Yeah,
is never going to buy him out.
exactly.
I mean, sorry, my son just texted me, and he wants me to quote him. The Bearcats were ass this weekend in football. So we can that's straight from Cade Fightmaster. So
Excellent. That's a great quote. We will
yeah, yeah, so
definitely have to include
chalk it
that.
up.
Exactly.
But I mean, Scott Satterfield, he will survive this because he's got a ridiculous buyout. He was smart when he negotiated his contract. So we can sit here and complain all we want about Satterfield and say he needs to be gone. How does he survive this? He can't coach this team. He's going to for the next at least 2 years.
Exactly. Yeah, they're not going to pay for him to do nothing.
No, no, and now I will say this. Yeah, you know what? The North Carolina job is opening up. That could be interesting to him from because of his ties to Appalachia State. So maybe, but God, when you have a job in the Big 12, like he's got, what's his incentive to leave? Other than maybe he wants to just cash in and get that payout and go coach another job. Um, and then unfortunately, let's say hypothetically that he does do that. Who's coming here?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to look at what and UC's got some talent, but who's going to look at what they've done the past 2 years and say, you know what, I can do that. Um, God, we survived Tommy Tuberville, but it's almost like this is Tommy Tuberville 2.0.
Right.
So I don't know. It's frustrating. So but what started so promising, man, we were so behind it at 5-2, the rug got pulled out from under us, and there's that 0-5 to finish the season and not even make a bowl game.
But it hurts.
Yeah, it's a damn shame, man.
But on the bright side, like Sorsby, like I said, in the first quarter, they really were not passing the ball, but he ended up
No.
still having an okay game, 21 to 34,
Yeah,
160, not bad.
yeah, yeah.
Corey got, over 100 yards. Heck, Sorsby almost had 100 yards rushing. So that's
Yeah.
not.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not. It's not like the rushing was a horrible strategy. It's just when you see it's not working, get away from it.
Mhm.
So, and the thing is, I mean, the cupboard is absolutely not bare. I mean, we're not. It isn't as down as I may make it sound, because this is emotional, right? We're dealing with watching the team that we absolutely love just crap the bed for the last month and a week, you know.
Exactly. It's quite frustrating.
And so, you know what? Yes, you get Sorsby. You've got promising young players, you know. So maybe if Satterfield's gone, if he leaves or gets fired, if some if somebody in the athletic department is crazy enough to do that and pay the payout, the cupboard's not bare, you know. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
I agree with you. I mean, they got a lot to do, but the transfer portal can change things overnight.
Yeah, it can. And again, that depends on who you have coaching. Scott Satterfield did a decent job, but what he did is he went and got Joe Royer, Pryor, those guys who were at major programs and got a little disenfranchised with what was going on. And Royer, he wanted to come home. Pryor was staying close to Columbus, in that general area, and came down here. And those were great moves. But then what did they do with them? Prior. Now I guess maybe next year he can become more of a, every now and back. But
Yeah, next year he's going to be our guy.
yeah, but
He's got to
Royer,
be. Yeah,
yeah, Royer disappeared. I mean, think about it. That when we were 5-2, he was all over the place, making plays everywhere. He single-handedly beat Miami,
mhm.
I mean, and had 2 touchdowns called back against them. But then he disappeared, and I don't know if it was the caliber of the opponent because Royer's a good player,
Oh yeah,
or
he's out there
if it
doing it.
was if it was the strategy, or I mean, even if Sorsby just stopped looking to him, or did teams take him away? Did they?
Exactly. Started doubling, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah, doubling him and taking care of it that way, which is what a good defensive coordinator would do. But then a good offensive coordinator would then double down and figure out a way to get it to him.
exactly.
So it's just it's frustrating, it's frustrating. We're emotional about it just because, like I said, this is a team we love. We've talked about them for years and years now, James, you and me. And we know how we feel about the team. And they were there, man. They were right there. They needed
It was so
one
darn close.
flip and win,
Hmm.
one win, and they couldn't do it. And they were so close. And then and then you could tell it was starting to wear on them. They were starting to press and they couldn't do it.
Exactly. Yeah, too much
So,
pressure on themselves. And
yeah.
then Royer, they announced during the game that he broke one of Kelsey's records. I'm not
Yeah.
most receptions, I think, in a season.
Yeah, yeah, he did. They put out a graphic for it. So, and I mean, I think he's a junior. So, I think, we'll get him back and see if we can build around him. It's just, you know, hopefully they can do that. Really the two biggest that we lose are Dante Corleone and Corey Kiner. We lose a couple of the offensive linemen, but hopefully we'll get some people to step in for them, So next man up. So
Exactly. Yeah, because that didn't work out as well as they made it sound. At one point, it sounded like with the offensive line coming back, shoot, we had five and future NFL linemen on us.
hmm yeah, you remember that? I mean, when we were doing a
Yeah,
preview, when we talked about the preseason. Oh yeah, man, they're going to be, they got studs all over the offensive line. They're coming back. They're bringing all these guys back. They wanted to, do great things, and it's just, a little frustrating.
and you're
So
right. He's a junior. Joe is.
okay, good, good. Yeah, I couldn't tell. Unfortunately, my phone's dying, so I couldn't look it up that quick. So, but so we'll have him back, and that's a good thing. So.
So, it might not have ended the way we wanted. Of course, it did not at all end the way we wanted, but there
Right.
was some improvement there. It's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it is, and we'll get there. It's just, it's a bummer. It's a bummer the way the season ended. There was so much hope and there was so much opportunity and they just, couldn't do it. So, as my son said, they played like ass. So,
So now, with that being said,
mhm.
hope, opportunity, optimism. Number 14. Uh,
Not much longer. But we talk about this team and one thing that they lost tonight to Villanova 68-60. And James, one of the things that we have talked about in the last few games is they were shooting lights out, man. Couldn't miss. They were hitting everything. The confidence, the shots were falling. Didn't happen tonight. and that's the danger, and I think we've talked about this past couple years, and this is not a Wes Miller thing. This is a young basketball player thing. Okay, they don't stop shooting when they're missing. They keep jacking up threes. So the Bearcats lost 68-60 to Villanova tonight in the Big East Big 12 battle, or whatever they call it. The frustrating thing is the Bearcats shot 8 of 26 from 3 point. You can't do that and win. You just can't do that and win. And then they were equally as bad from the field. They only made 23 of their 60 shots, shooting less than 50%, shooting what, 38%. So I did not get a chance to listen to Coach Miller's post-game comments, but if he was pissed off after the Alabama State performance, I can't imagine what we're going to be here, because one guy from Villanova put 31 on him.
Exactly.
So
Freaking killed it. Yeah.
yeah,
And the crazy thing is, it's not like Villanova is Villanova anymore.
right,
I mean,
right,
Villanova a couple years ago, sure, that wouldn't
yeah,
have hurt our feelings, but they're
yeah,
5-4. I mean, they really have not done much of anything
yeah,
this year.
yeah. So
Columbia's beat them. Gosh, what was the other one? St. Joseph, not St.
St.
John,
Joseph,
St. Joseph.
yeah, yeah,
Virginia, Maryland. Actually,
yeah,
that Maryland game was a good game though.
yeah, yeah.
But
So
yeah, they just really haven't done much.
no, they haven't. But I will also say this: it also does speak to playing a strong non-conference schedule. Because they do. They've got Maryland, they've got Virginia, they've got big name teams that have been good in the past. That they play, and instead of your, um, oh God, who the hell has UC beaten?
Yeah,
Some of the teams they play. The Howards, which they haven't played yet, but Morehead State, Arkansas Pine Bluff.
that's my favorite part. There is where you have to add the Pine Bluff at the end. Like if you
Yeah,
said Arkansas, hey,
yeah,
that's a good game. Or shoot,
yeah,
where Scottie Pippen went. I think he went to like Arkansas State,
yeah. Central Arkansas or something
like
like that. Yeah, man.
something like that.
Yeah.
That's at least you're like, okay, I've heard of somebody who's played there. When you say Pine Bluff, I'm like, no,
No,
no.
no, nobody. So it's frustrating game. But the thing about basketball is it's a long season, and we're probably going to have 3 or 4 more like this. Frustrating games. So we just gotta bounce back. The Cats on Sunday play
Howard
Howard. Yeah, but
and
then
Howard's done some things in the past.
yeah, Howard's not bad. Howard's not bad. They played Howard last year, and if you remember, it was one of the tougher games of the non-conference schedule. I think it was at Howard, and they were very good. And it was a tough game, but we won. The thing is, after Howard, you got Xavier
Xavier.
and Dayton, and so those two are going to really show what UC's made of. Um, it looks like Xavier may have fallen out of the top 25 too.
They did.
Yeah. Um, so
Yeah, Xavier, Dayton. I mean, they're
mm,
yeah, they're getting some good games.
yeah, and Xavier always tough.
Mhm.
Crosstown shootout rivalry. We'll never discount that, and we'll talk about that later down the road. Next week, because I think they play a week from this coming Saturday. Dayton worries me because of their performance in the Maui Invitational, and you're going to sit here and say, "Well, they finished seventh." Yeah, they finished seventh, but they beat uh Connecticut, and they took North Carolina to the limit. So, it's, and now granted, Connecticut had a horrible, horrible
It's
invitational.
horrible. They lost like 3 of the games.
Yeah, they lost to
Oh,
everybody. They
yeah.
they finished the last. The defending national champion finished the last in the invitational. So that shows how poorly they played. And Dan Hurley acted like an idiot, which kills me because he's a Bengals fan. And I don't want Bengals fans acting like idiots. But is what it is. So but we're gonna learn a lot about this team in the next coming games. Howard may, I want to see how we bounce back against them. Um, because of how poorly they played tonight. Let's see if the shooting gets better, if the rebounding gets better, if they can stop people on the defensive end, and then we'll turn our attention to the crosstown shootout when we talk next week.
Sounds good. So the men, despite the loss in basketball, are doing well. And
Mhm.
then what about the women?
Yeah, the women put up a nice win against Connecticut. Central Connecticut, but it was a Connecticut.
Mhm.
They won 78-49. Big win for them. Numbers wise, Central Connecticut is 1-9. They should have beaten Central Connecticut the way they did, but they went out and did it. So that's a good thing. Yeah, Cats are what, 5-2. The Lady Cats, I apologize, are 5-2. Jillian Hayes scored 26, 7 of 13 from the field, and made 12 of her 14 free throws.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jillian, in my opinion, has got a bright future in the WNBA.
I think so too, man. I mean, I really, really think so because of the way she is, the way she's playing. She is just doing so well. And this is the game that you were talking about before we came on, flipping through the radio stations, and all of a sudden you heard that they were playing. This was at 11 o'clock this morning. This was the what do they call it?
Education game.
The education game. So, and the kids that went got to see a great win.
That is cool. Yeah, I think it's awesome because unfortunately, not a lot of, not enough times do the women's basketball team sell out and they have plenty of seats available.
Right.
Uh, but with a game like this, the young people that aren't able to sometimes go to games because of financial constraints or
Hmm.
parents not being able to time wise because of having multiple jobs, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
There it unites them both because
Yeah.
it puts a spark in the players having that crowd. I mean, heck, even over the radio, you
Hmm.
could hear just the intensity.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of going to a couple of those games, and they are phenomenal games, even if it is against somebody like Central Connecticut State. It's
Hmm.
still the atmosphere is so
Hmm.
much fun and it's so inspiring.
Yeah, and it looks like they had according to ESPN, 3,200 people were in attendance. That's a great number for the women's basketball team. I mean, last year, my stepdaughter's team went to watch them play, and that night that they went, they said there were very few people there. They're lucky if there were 1,000 people there, and that was an evening game. So it's good to see that they were able to get a lot of young ladies out there, young kids out there to watch them play, and play well. They did well. They turned Central Connecticut over 24 times. So
Yeah, I
that's
mean, good lordy, they were stealing the ball like crazy.
yeah.
You got Jillian, of course, does what Jillian does, and she
Hmm.
had 3 steals. But
Hmm.
the Jacksons also both had really great games. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, they're the team's doing better all the way around.
Hmm.
Like I said, it's not just like in the past where it has to go on everything on Jillian's shoulders.
Right.
She has teammates that are definitely contributing very strong as well.
Yeah, she's got some help. So Friday night is their next game. They play Western Illinois, and Western Illinois is actually 5-1. So they are a good team. Looking at who they've played, they've beaten the likes of Bradley and Chicago State, Kansas City and Omaha. So smaller teams, but they are 5-1, and it's going to be a good test for the Lady Bearcats.
Ooh, and it's bingo night. So I'm
Oh,
guessing there's some prizes or something that could be won. So that
sweet.
kind of sounds like fun. They probably give you a little bingo card when you're coming in.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's they announce things or it might be one of those ones where like, hey, 3-pointer, or
Yeah.
this or technical foul or
Yep.
whatever, and you got
Yeah.
to look it off and be the first one to announce that you
Eh,
won. Yeah, it could be fun. Yeah,
Yell bingo. That'd be awesome.
yeah. Oh
So
gosh, yeah. And then, like you said, the thing we'll discuss next week is the crosstown shootout. And
yeah.
the women's crosstown shootout is just as intense as the men. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah. It's
Yeah, and that is Sunday the 15th. The men play Saturday the 14th. So it'll be a busy weekend there. And this time the Lady Cats go to Xavier. So since the men are here. So yeah, it's good to see them doing well. What are they gonna do in the Big 12? Who knows? But what's nice is they're doing well right now, and they're gonna head into the Big 12 with a little bit of momentum. And
exactly.
that's what they need.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's never a bad thing to have momentum. It's always great to get that start going and
Mhm.
just the team bond and gel as they've
Yeah.
been doing.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So it sounds like, despite the loss with the football and loss with men's basketball, there are some good things going with UC sports.
Yeah, there's always reasons to be positive, especially long football or long basketball season. So that's the main thing to take from that. The ladies Bearcats are playing well. Football, we haven't hit rock. I think rock bottom was last year, so I think we're trending up from rock bottom. But we'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
And then another neat thing besides the crosstown shootout that we can talk next week
Mhm.
is, I believe today is National Signing Day or tomorrow.
Tomorrow? I
Tomorrow, I
think
think
it's
so.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
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 I think
tomorrow. Yeah, that's what it is.
yeah,
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah, because I remember I got an email. Miami was like, "Yeah, come on out to it. It'd be great." And I'm like,
Mhm.
if schedule opened up, I would love to see what new players they're getting. Because I got
Yeah.
to do that a couple times with UC, and that was really cool seeing. Gosh, it was the one of the years we had like a 6'8", 6'9" tight end from Germany who eventually played
Yeah.
line for
Oh
us.
yeah, yeah. I remember that guy.
Yeah, I thought that was the coolest thing because I'm like, oh my gosh, this like why is he not playing on our basketball team?
Yeah.
He's 6'9". Or why
Yeah.
don't you just lob the ball to him? When we
Mhm.
get to anywhere in the 10-yard line or closer, you get in the red zone, this should be an easy thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah, they didn't do it. But yeah, and that's yeah, that'll be fun to talk about a little bit, see who excuse me, see who the Bearcats land. So
Sounds great. Any final thoughts?
after I cough, yeah.
Yeah, no
Just
worries.
hey, just keep looking for the positives. It's okay to be emotional about these teams, because we all are, and we all feel that way about them. So just keep looking for the positive. It'll be all right.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us on UC Bearcats on the Prowl, part of the Grueling Truth Radio Network, hosted by Mark Fightmaster and James